Young Thug YSL RICO trial returned to court today. The first prosecutor's witness on the stand today was a YSL snitch, as Young Thug had to sit and listen to a former close friend of his snitch in front of everyone inside of the courtroom. As the report goes and reads, Young Thug and his co-defendant appear to be upset after a member that took a plea deal takes the stand and identifies them.
So can I say, I knew him before I went to prison?
It is the truth?
Yes.
When did you go to prison?
2015.
So you knew him before 2015?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And what about Jeffrey Williams? How long have you known him?
Of course, before I went to prison.
I'm sorry.
I said before I went to prison, but like probably 3 years before that.
Why did you say, of course, before I went to prison?
No, because I used prison as an example to help me time frame the first person.
With today being all revolved around a man named Trontavious Stevens, aka Slug, who took a plea deal against Young Thug several months ago. He was then asked to name all of the members in his street team, but he seemed hesitant.
I mean, are you gonna like tell them to stop, or like, is there a certain amount of people you need to name or anything?
Would you please just name something?
Just some of them?
So just name some people. All the ones you remember who were members of Rock.
Everyone?
Mr. Stevens. Would you please name the members of Rock Crew who were members while you were a member?
I probably wouldn't even be able to.
However, this wasn't even the craziest part of the trial today, as later we would then see Trontavious Stevens, formerly known as Young Thug's right-hand man, act like he was not even fully there in the head, when he was simply asked on how old he was when he joined a street team.
What year was it that you recall first being an active or being a member of Rock Crew? You said you were around a certain age. What year was that?
I will rule that objection.
That means you can answer.
I had to be about 6th grade. So whatever, what you about 11 or 12 in the 6th grade?
Would you tell the jury what year you remember first becoming or being a member of Rock?
I'm kind of bad with math. That's why I ain't passed the math part of my GED yet.
Let me ask you a different question while you count.
No, one thing at a time, sorry.
Okay.
As it's very obvious that he was scared to be on the stand. Taking a plea deal is one thing, but having to go in front of the people you're snitching on is a completely different story. He was so nervous that the prosecutor would then turn his testimony into a math class.
Were you a member in 2010?
If I was in 6th grade, I'm trying to put what year I was in 6th grade.
How old were you in 2010?
I was trying to do my math.
Don't do the math, let me ask you. What year were you born?
1993.
1993. So in 2013, was that an age of about 20? Would you agree?
2013.
Yep. 93, 2003 is
13.
10. 2013 is 20.
20.
Now we back up 3 years from 13, that puts us at 2010, which makes you about 17.
You're going too fast.
It really seemed as if Trontavious did not want to snitch on Young Thug at all, as he was trying his best, it seemed, to not give any information up on Young Thug. This was actually making the prosecutor very angry. Trying to get any bit of information out of Trontavious, they would try to go on to make him admit that he was in a street team, singling out one of his tattoos that was located on his neck. As a report goes and reads, a my body, my choice moment in the Young Thug trial, as Trontavious Stevens, aka Tick, aka Slug, explains why he spelled can't with a K on his tattoos. He said, and I quote, "Because it was my body and I wanted to do what I wanted to do with my body."
Why do you have it spelled with a K on the back of your neck?
Because it was my body and I wanted to do what I wanted to do with my body.
And you're entitled.
Right.
Is there any particular reason you chose to change the letter C to a letter K?
I wanted to seem original, so I initially got the initial quote from a movie called Law Abiding Citizens, and that phrase was an important part in the movie. So, and I didn't want people to think that's where I got it from. So I wanted it to seem original, like I thought of it.
However, we know the real story on why he didn't spell can't with a C and instead used a K. The prosecutor does as well, but with Trontavious not fully cooperating and answering the questions truthfully, there is talks of his plea deal now being rejected away from him. And with those arguments beginning to rise, we're also seeing Lil Baby get into the mix against Gunna, as Lil Baby doesn't like seeing Young Thug battle this case by himself, and he believes that Young Thug is only in this mess because of Gunna. In Lil Baby's new song last week, titled 350, he states the lyrics, "Ain't never gonna say nothing about it, boy you know that you a rat." Now this has gone viral on social media, so viral Thug's father would do an interview this week defending Gunna and telling Lil Baby to stay quiet.
How do you feel about Lil Baby throwing at Gunna for his plea deal? For his plea?
He need to shut the fuck up, cause he don't know what's going on. You know, he's going off of what he heard. Ask Lil Baby, have you ever came to a court date?
Oh, okay.
See, that's what I want y'all to ask these damn rappers and these bloggers with this old snitch shit and this. When have y'all went to a court date to support Slime, to support Jeffrey, to support Thug, however you want to name it? Go on their social media pages and say, why in the haven't you been at the courthouse to support your dude? And I guarantee you won't get an answer.
As according to Young Thug's father, Gunna isn't even the main reason that Young Thug is in the situation that he's in.
Courtney said, how do you feel about Gunna?
I love Gunna.
See, that's the thing. People don't understand the relationship. They got this thing saying that Gunna is a rat and he's done this and done that.
But see, let me try to help the attorney clarify that a little simpler.
Okay.
Gunna hasn't done anything whatsoever that can hurt us on this case. Period.
As according to Young Thug's father, when Gunna was snitching and the video got leaked and he said yes ma'am to many questions asked by the judge, it apparently wasn't snitching, but you tell me what you think.
You agree or acknowledge that statements are true, okay?
Yes ma'am.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes ma'am.
YSL is a music label and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance.
Yes, ma'am.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped a vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocarbons and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you acknowledge the following statement? I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL to the detriment of my community. YSL again. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.
However, Young Thug may not have these issues for much longer. It was just reported before the trial resumed today. With the Young Thug RICO trial on break, expect Young Thug's lawyers to push for a mistrial this week. The prosecutors have provided little to no evidence thus far, and it seems like they need more time, as even with the trial back, there is still no evidence being shown against Young Thug. This is making the judge angry, as it seems as if this is a huge waste of time. You may remember just 2 weeks ago, the judge even had to ask the prosecutor to stay out of his business.
Is there anything else at this point in time?
Your Honor, did your number 39?
Yo, would you stay out of my business, Miss Love?
Oh, well.
Stay out of my business.
Judge,
Look,
I'm sorry.
I've been doing this a long time. Yes, I have, yes. And if you really must know, she's going to reschedule her appointment to the week of the King holiday. You happy? No, you're not happy. But anyways, that's the explanation you're gonna get. I'm on top of it. Okay. All right. Yes, Mr. Sharp.
As just 30 minutes prior to that, it would also be announced judge in the Young Thug trial isn't happy with the state because they never turned in all of the slides they planned on using in their opening statement.
Is there anything else you're going to use in opening you haven't shown to defense counsel? He's telling us. Well, I said that. I told you to do that a week ago. Because here's what I told you was going to happen. I've got a jury that's out right now that's being interrupted. And Mr. Williams, you should have made your motion or should have told me about that an hour ago or when you found out about it. Not hijack me at the bench about that. You did what you had to do, but I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about any of this. Because this is stuff we could take care of before our jury comes in. And that makes you all, lessen your ability as advocates and lessen our ability for this jury to go ahead and get this case seamlessly. This is what I told you all was going to happen. So,
as just 1 week prior to the judge saying that to the prosecutors, he told them to have all of their slides and evidence ready that they wanted to use on that day. However, they didn't do it.
Allowed us to...
I'm really annoyed about this, Ms. Fulton. I just am. This is ridiculous. Your witness list has grown by 2/3 since then. And I don't know why. You better have a dang good explanation on the 16th, because if you don't, I'm going to exclude it. Okay. But right now, I'm telling you, without anything further, it's gone.
Well, we would like to
exclude a lot more on that date, because this is ridiculous. There is no plausible explanation I've gotten and that would suffice that we just kind of keep, you keep dripping and driving out evidence.
As it's very obvious, the trial is stressing out the judge, the prosecutors don't seem to know what they're even doing, the witnesses they bring on the stand also seem like as if they're not bringing anything to the table. When you add all of this together, it explains why the judge had to announce inside of court he needs to have a service dog beside him just to help him calm down.
Here behind me is this bell that starts jingling, all right? And if you hear a jingling sound like a bell, please don't think that I'm doing anything creepy up here, all right? I have a service dog behind me. His name is Jack. I think some of you may have seen him already. He lives the best life ever. He's pampered. He's really, and he is a Labrador Retriever. He's about almost 2.5, 3 years old at this point in time. So, but if you hear that bell, that's him moving around, all right? He doesn't bark. He rarely gets interested in what's going on, so he might come up here and look, but that's about it, all right? Don't bring him any food either, okay? All right? He is spoiled rotten, so please don't try and throw any food back here behind me or anything like that. He doesn't need anything else, okay? But if you hear that bell, hear that sound,